Who knows what may happen next? Maybe Golden Boy Promotions will start selling used cars. This is Ricardo Lois, Boxing Confidential Radio, the podcast of BoxingConfidential.com. Check out our website, updated every day throughout the day with the best in news, opinion, and analysis. I started off by saying, you know what, maybe Golden Boy will start selling cars next, because today Golden Boy Promotions announced the signing of super middleweight Jeff Lacy. Yes, the same Jeff Lacy that was left in shambles by Joe Calzaghe in 2006. The same Jeff Lacy that has not been seen since late 2006 due to a torn rotator cuff. The same Jeff Lacy that looked to be ruined by Joe Calzaghe and left to fight in a fight which he was being pounded and had no chance of winning. So Golden Boy signed Jeff Lacy, which it's interesting to think about because he's a super middleweight. I don't think he'll be moving up to light heavyweight. And who's left in the super middleweight division? Joe Calzaghe and Mikhail Kessler. Joe Calzaghe and Mikhail Kessler will be fighting in November out in England for pretty much bragging rights to the super middleweight division. Calzaghe at this point in time is the recognized champion, and Kessler is trying to take the crown. That's a pick'em fight. I like Calzaghe in the fight. So I'm looking at the landscape as if Jeff Lacy would have to beat Joe Calzaghe to be the man at super middleweight. And unless Joe Calzaghe gets old really quick, I do not think that Jeff Lacy's game is evolved or will evolve at 30 years of age into the type of style that could give Calzaghe trouble. Calzaghe is too varied, much slicker than Lacy, and I think he beats Lacy just about every night they would fight. So, I guess Lacy's hoping that Kessler will win because Kessler has a much more forward, attacking, plotting to the front with no uppercuts, no wrinkles in their game type is Kessler. He's just a, 1-2 type fighter. Jab, straight, no uppercut, nothing. A couple hooks here and there. That's the type of fighter that I think if Kessler were to beat Calzaghe in November, now you could maybe see Kessler versus Lacy down the road, and that'd be an interesting fight. That would be two trains colliding in the center of the ring. I wrote a brief article on BoxingConfidential.com in relation to Lacy's signing with Golden Boy Promotions, and one of our fine readers, Rudy from the Northern California area, who did grace us with his presence on Boxing Confidential Radio a couple months ago to debate John Chavez on the Castillo versus Hatton fight. And Rudy made the commentary today that, what about Librado Andrade versus Jeff Lacy? They're both Golden Boy fighters now. That would be an interesting matchup. Andrade beat Yusef Mack this weekend out in Las Vegas, Nevada, on the undercard of Pacquiao versus Barrera. And that was pretty much a train wreck in itself. Andrade was down in the fight, and got knocked down to the floor, got up, and still beat Yusef Mack by knockout. So Andrade versus Lacy would be an interesting fight. Very interesting fight. But before any of that happens, Lacy will be returning in December on the undercard of Ricky Hatton and Floyd Mayweather's a big fight on December 8th, I believe, or it might be December 12th. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but it will be taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, and on pay-per-view. So Lacy's back. I don't know. It just shows us that Golden Boy is signing everyone under the sun. I mean, they signed Casamayor earlier this year. They signed Lacy. They signed Manny Pacquiao, or they worked out their legal battle with Top Rank. Golden Boy is doing it. They're pushing to be the most dominant promotion in boxing, and you could argue that they are the most dominant promotion in boxing as of right now. We'll see how this all plays out. We'll see how long they could keep it going, but with Bob Arum's Top Rank and aging, because Bob Arum is aging, and who knows what will happen to that promotion once Pop. I just come up with these weird sounds sometimes out of my mouth. But what will happen to Top Rank once Bob Arum goes away? That'll be interesting. And Top Rank's pretty much the only promoter that can give Golden Boy some competition right now. So Golden Boy signs Jeff Lacy to a promotional contract. He returns in December on the undercard of Mayweather versus Hatton. We'll see how it all plays out. It'll be interesting to follow now Kessler and Calzaghe from the angle of what's Jeff Lacy's future as a super middleweight. Another angle you could consider is Jeff Lacy versus Jermaine Taylor, and that's a fight that was thought about years ago as Taylor and Lacy were coming up the ranks. Everyone knew Taylor would eventually move up to super middleweight, and it looks like Taylor's right about there. He seems to be struggling a little bit with the middleweight limit, and of course he lost to Kelly Pavlik 2 weeks ago. So if Taylor moves up in weight, that'd be an interesting fight in itself. Lacy versus Taylor. So there's a lot of interesting things that could go on with Jeff Lacy, but first he has to pick up the pieces, get himself together, and show us all that he's still a world-class fighter. Until next time, this is Ricardo Lois, BoxingConfidentialRadio.com.